Young and the Restless. Claire's betrayal and Billy's proposal spark steamy couples drama. First, I want to talk about Billy and Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, and a big move he makes this week. Billy, Jason Thompson, as you know, is a wild card when it comes to relationships. He doesn't have the best track record. Not only does he take risks and gambles wildly, not just with money, but also with love and feelings, but he's also been known to cheat. The larger issue is that he is unreliable, as his exes will tell you. Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, has been let down by Billy more times than I can count. Plus, he was unfaithful to her. One of the biggest betrayals I can think of was when he slept with Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, while he had been seeing her mom, Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford. That happened right before he went off to gambling rehab. What a way to leave Genoa City. To be fair, Billy has also been handed his fair share of heartache by the women in his life, most notably his mother, Jill Abbott, Jess Walton. Billy's mommy issues make things very hard in his relationships. Young and the Restless. Billy heartbroken by Phyllis. If you don't remember, he had just proposed to Phyllis and they were sitting together at Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Sharon Newman, Sharon Case's most recent wedding when the bride blew up and Sharon revealed that Nick and Phyllis had slept together. Billy immediately called off their engagement about 5 minutes after he'd proposed. When he was seeing Chelsea Lawson Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, about a year ago, she fell back into bed with her ex, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, who is Billy's chief nemesis, the worst possible person she could have cheated with. Billy and Sally on solid ground. However, I will say that Billy has been a pretty good partner to Sally, and he hasn't really let her down yet like he's done in the past with other relationships. At the same time, Sally has her eyes wide open about Billy. When he wouldn't let up on the idea of pursuing Chancellor, Sally put her foot down and demanded that Billy respect the risk she took by leaving Marchetti. That's when he named Sally the CEO of Abbottcom. This week, Billy makes some sort of commitment to Sally. I don't think it's about business simply because Billy already named Sally CEO of the company. I get the feeling that what Billy does is more personal and hopefully more romantic. Although Sally and Billy got involved pretty much as a rebound when Adam and Chelsea cheated on them, it's clearly grown into a real relationship with real feelings. Which way will Billy go on Young and the Restless? I suspect Billy may ask Sally to move in with him. But what I think would be much more romantic and obviously much more of a commitment is if Billy proposes to Sally because she has stuck with him through thick and thin. I definitely think she's proved she is a loyal partner. Then again, if Billy asks Sally to marry him, I'm not sure she'd say yes because she may think this is him gambling again, but gambling on love. She may want to take it more slowly. Sally may prefer to move in with Billy and give it a test run before she commits. Either way, there is a really big change coming for Sally and Billy. Speaking of big changes, Claire might be contemplating a major shift in her life. Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, messes up so badly by proposing to Claire this week, hot on the heels of confessing that he had been lying to her about Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver. Claire asked for some time to think things through, but instead, Kyle pressed for them to move in together and get engaged. This week, Claire snaps at him and asks, "What's next?" "A baby." She feels like things with Kyle are out of control. He's moving way too fast after being dishonest with her. It's important to remember this is Claire's first and only relationship, and she's got some serious emotional issues because she was raised by crazy, vengeful Jordan Howard, Colleen Zenk. Claire already warned Kyle that dishonesty was a trigger for her. But he didn't listen to Claire and he didn't listen to his parents, Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, when they said, "Slow your roll." Kyle went ahead and pulled out that big old ring. When Claire asked when he had bought it, Kyle said he did it that same day on Young and the Restless. Claire rethinking everything on Young and the Restless. From Claire's perspective, Kyle got caught in a lie. He'd been kissing another woman. Claire isn't sure whether he intended to cheat or not. Then he ran and bought a ring and proposed. Of course, she's skeptical. Claire walks out on the proposal and refuses to kiss him goodnight. Then she runs into Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, who has a huge crush on her. When he asks what's wrong and encourages Claire to talk to him, she decides she wants to get drunk because she has never been drunk before. Of course, Holden is totally down with that. What I'm wondering is whether Claire may wake up in bed with Holden. That would probably shock Claire, but I know it would thrill Holden because he is head over heels in a big old crush on her. Since Claire has never been drunk, she's probably a real lightweight, and she's been doing all these first-time experiences, you never know. Claire cheats on Kyle? This might be her first experience cheating on a boyfriend. What I think is interesting about this, though, is I actually don't think if she got drunk and slept with Holden, Claire would lie to Kyle, Michael Mueller, about it. If she wakes up with Holden, Nathan Owens, I think she'll go, whoops. But then she probably won't be a hypocrite, and I think she would come clean to him. This would kind of put Claire on the back foot because Kyle did stop short of sleeping with Audra. But at the same time, Claire doesn't know if he intended to stop or maybe it was happenstance. Remember, Audra told her. He kissed me in Paris. What still hasn't come out is the whole truth because it wasn't just a kiss on Young and the Restless. Kyle's still hiding the whole truth. Audra came to his door scheming right after they found out Damian Kane, Jermaine Rivers, had died. Kyle answered the door in a towel, presumably wearing nothing else, and then they started making out. They wound up on the bed. He was on top of her in only a towel and then finally stopped it. But there was full body contact. I think everybody was watching that going, whoa, is this going to stop or not? So if Claire had a snapshot of what happened in that train car, I don't think she would feel very bad if she woke up next to Holden. If it does happen that way, honestly, Kyle has nobody to blame but himself. We'll see how this week shakes out and whether we have Billy and Sally getting much closer to a happily ever after, and Kyle and Claire getting much further away from their happy ending. Has seen its fair share of chaos, but this week's emotional roller coaster leaves fans clutching their seats. Between shocking betrayals and unexpected romance, The Young and the Restless delivers a sizzling chapter that no one saw coming. Claire Grace finds herself tangled in a web of guilt and deceit while Billy Abbott makes a move that could forever change the Abbott legacy, and his heart. Claire's secret unravels. Claire Grace has spent months trying to rebuild her life after her dark history with Jordan. With Victoria Newman's cautious support and Nick's growing fondness for her, Claire had started to believe she could truly belong in Genoa City. But everything threatens to fall apart when a hidden truth from her past resurfaces. A mysterious phone call from Jordan's old associate sends Claire spiraling. He claims to have evidence linking Claire to something much darker, something she thought she'd buried for good. Desperate to protect herself and the fragile trust she's built with the Newmans, Claire makes a choice that will haunt her. She lies to Victoria. When Victoria confronts her about a missing file related to Newman Media's upcoming deal, Claire insists she knows nothing about it. But the guilt in her eyes says otherwise. Nate Hastings catches wind of the tension and starts piecing things together, suspecting Claire may be playing both sides. In a rare moment of vulnerability, Claire turns to Kyle Abbott for comfort. Their friendship, built on shared feelings of being outsiders, takes a dangerously intimate turn. One glass of wine turns into two, and before long, they're locked in a kiss that neither of them expected, nor can take back. Victoria's fury and Kyle's regret. When Victoria learns that Kyle was seen leaving Claire's apartment late at night, she confronts both of them in a blistering showdown at Newman Enterprises. Her fury is volcanic. "You brought chaos into my family, Claire," Victoria snaps. "And you, Kyle. You know better than to mix business with my daughter's personal redemption story." Kyle tries to explain that it wasn't planned, that Claire was upset, that he only wanted to be there for her, but Victoria doesn't buy it. "You think compassion excuses betrayal?" she seethes. The fallout is swift. Claire is suspended from her Newman duties, and Kyle's partnership deal is put on hold. The scandal quickly spreads through Genoa City like wildfire, leaving Summer Newman torn between disappointment and jealousy. Though she's with Chance Chancellor now, something about Kyle's bond with Claire stirs old emotions. Claire, meanwhile, is drowning in remorse. The one person who still shows her kindness is Billy Abbott, who sees something of his own wounded spirit in her. Their late-night conversation at Crimson Lights becomes an emotional lifeline for both. Billy, who's been trying to sort out his own heart, finds himself unexpectedly drawn to Claire's pain. "You made a mistake," he tells her gently. "But one mistake doesn't define you. Trust me, I've made more than my share." Billy's proposal stuns everyone. As if the Newman-Abbott tension weren't high enough, Billy makes a bold move that shakes both families. After a long talk with Chelsea, who gently reminds him that life's too short to keep running from happiness, Billy decides it's time to take control of his destiny, both professionally and romantically. At the Abbott mansion, he stuns everyone during a family dinner when he announces his plan to merge Chancellor Winter's creative division with Jabot's marketing wing, without Jack's full approval. But that's only the first bombshell. The second? Billy drops to one knee and proposes to Chelsea. Chelsea Lawson, he says with that signature mix of charm and earnestness. You've seen me at my worst and still believed in me. I don't want to waste another second pretending I'm not in love with you. The room goes silent. Devon is stunned, Lily's expression darkens, and Jack nearly chokes on his wine. But it's Chelsea's trembling smile that seals the moment. Billy. I never thought you'd ask, she whispers before saying yes. However, as everyone celebrates, the camera pans to Claire. Standing just outside the door, her heart breaking. Her betrayal of Victoria has already left her isolated. But watching Billy, the one man who believed in her, move forward with someone else makes her feel more alone than ever. Tensions ignite across Genoa City. Victoria's anger doesn't stop at Claire. She storms into Chancellor Winters demanding answers from Billy, furious that his impulsive business move affects Newman's interests. You just merged with half of our competitors, Billy, she shouts. Are you trying to start a war? Billy coolly replies, maybe it's time someone gave the Newmans a run for their money. The line is pure Abbott defiance, and Victoria can't help but smirk, even through her frustration. Their tension sizzles, sparking whispers of rekindled chemistry among fans who've long rooted for a Billy-Victoria reunion. Meanwhile, Chelsea starts to worry that Billy's proposal might have been more about proving something than love. When she catches him meeting with Claire at society, her insecurities flare. Billy insists it was innocent. He was just offering Claire advice, but the emotional charge between them doesn't go unnoticed. You say you've moved on, Chelsea says quietly, but part of you still needs to rescue broken women, Billy. Maybe that's what you love most. Billy is left speechless, torn between his need to fix things and his longing to finally be free of guilt. Claire's redemption or downfall? As Claire faces losing everything, her job, her allies, and her reputation, she makes one last desperate attempt to clear her name. She discovers that the missing file wasn't stolen by her at all. It was planted. And the culprit? Nate Hastings, trying to manipulate Victoria into trusting him again. When Claire brings the proof to Victoria, the older woman's anger melts into reluctant understanding. You should have trusted me, Victoria says softly. But I see now. I didn't give you much reason to. The two share a fragile reconciliation, but the damage to Claire's heart is done. She's still haunted by what happened with Kyle, and by the growing realization that her feelings for Billy run deeper than she'll admit. As the episode closes, Claire watches Billy and Chelsea celebrating their engagement from across the GCAC ballroom. Her expression is a heartbreaking mix of regret and yearning. When Kyle approaches and mutters, "We made quite the mess, didn't we?" she answers quietly, "No, Kyle. I did." The camera lingers on Claire's face as the lights dim, teasing what's next, a possible redemption arc, or a full-blown descent into dangerous obsession. Final thoughts. This week's Young and the Restless proves why Genoa City remains the most dramatic town on daytime television. With Claire's betrayal shaking the Newmans, Billy's impulsive proposal stirring the Abbotts, and every relationship tested by lies and temptation, the stage is set for an unforgettable storm of romance and revenge.